Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, last episode I was talking with you about the idea that sometimes when we think about people who have hurt us or that we know that have done what we perceive to be really, really bad things, we have a tendency to label those people as bad, crazy, evil. And our doing so can be a part of a defense mechanism that we employ in order to distance ourselves from those people and the very idea that we may be capable of engaging in those kinds of disturbing, horrible acts, or that our loved ones may be capable of engaging in those kind of disturbing, hurtful, horrible acts. Because for us to believe such a thing about ourselves or about our loved ones would make life difficult. However, when we look at the reality of our lives, it becomes very apparent that this tendency that we have of labeling others as evil, crazy, bad, it is in fact just a defense mechanism, and it is not in alignment with the full truth of our lives as we experience it. Because every single person who commits a heinous crime is somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's friend, may even be somebody's father. They're all people first. We are all people first, and we share the same capacities as human beings for good and for evil. And it is important for us to recognize this, because if we don't, we can actually get ourselves into all kinds of trouble. I gave you the example of how I was sexually abused as a child. And the person who sexually abused me actually was a member of my extended family. It was somebody that everyone in my family trusted. Now, normally, you see, we warn our children about the stranger danger. And so, our children are more alert and more likely to speak up, speak out, run away, try to ask for help, get help, if they find themselves in a situation where they feel unsafe and uncomfortable with a stranger. We ourselves are on high alert when it comes to strangers being around our children. And we are careful about who we leave our children with and who we don't, under what conditions we will leave our children or not when we are dealing with strangers. However, because we have built these defensive shields, these defensive walls, or employed these defensive strategies of closing our eyes to the possibility that we ourselves could do hurtful, harmful things, or that our loved ones could do hurtful, harmful things, we can oftentimes fail to protect ourselves and fail to protect our kids from the dangers that are posed by those who are within our circles of family, friends, and we perceive them to be such, and therefore we trust them. But if you think about it, it is precisely because we trust these people, we allow them into our lives, we allow them into our homes in ways that we would never allow strangers into our lives and into our homes, that they are able to hurt us if they so wish, if they so desire. So is it any wonder that 80% of sexual assaults, sexual abuse cases involve victims and perpetrators who know each other? It is not surprising at all if you think about it. So even if all you're really concerned with is your own safety and your own well-being, it is critical that you face up to this reality that each and every one of us has the potential for the same kind of good and evil within us. So far we've been talking about this idea that other people can hurt us, other people, including people that we love and care about. But what about us? I, me, myself, you, yourself. Have you not hurt people in your life? Wronged people in your life? I know I have. So we know we have that capacity, we have that ability to do things that are hurtful, that are wrong. And so do our loved ones. And sometimes we think, but there's a line to what I will and will not do. For example, you may say, I would never murder somebody, or I would never, think of any other horrible crime and say, I would never commit such a crime. But how can you really be that sure? Can you really be that sure? I was mentioning to you last episode that there's actually a lot of research that is being done that is showing that the power of context, the power of our environment is extremely huge and can make us behave in ways that we would never, under other circumstances, other contexts, we would never consider possible for us to engage in. Let me just share with you really quickly one of those research studies and the results that were found through it. And you may have heard of this. It's called the Stanford Prison Experiment. If you just go ahead and Google Stanford Prison Experiment, you'll see a number of different websites will pop up from where you can go and read in detail the way the experiment was conducted and the findings that they found. I just will give you a really quick sense of what happened. Basically, in this study, they recruited a group of students in Stanford, and these students were randomly assigned into two groups: prisoners or prison guards. And they were told that basically this is going to be an experiment that's going to extend over a period of about 14 days or so, and that they wanted to study and investigate the causes of conflict between military guards and prisoners. Now, in the mock prison, which was created in the basement of the Stanford Psychology Department building, these students, they were assigned these roles and they were told to act them out. And in the course of acting out the roles of the prisoner and the prison guards, some really astounding results came to light. The students really got into playing out their roles way beyond the expectations that the experimenters had, to the point where the guards began to enforce really authoritarian measures and even subjected some of the prisoners to psychological torture. And many of the prisoners passively accepted the psychological abuse, and at the request of the guards, even harassed other prisoners who attempted to prevent it. Even the lead experimenter got so caught up in playing out his role as the superintendent of the prison that he permitted that abuse to continue. And again, these were very normal kids, normal students, and the results of these experiments, they were surprising to people because people didn't expect that, these students, these participants in the experiment, that they would get so serious in their role playing, that they would and in getting so serious about it, that they would act in these ways where they're even violating their normal understanding, their own good sense of right and wrong. This is just one of the studies that highlights the power of context, the power of environment on us. And what a folly it is for us to think that, I would never do this, or I would never do that. Until we truly find ourselves in that situation, in that circumstance, we cannot say for sure what we would or would not do. Just think about it for yourself. Have you never surprised yourself by how you've reacted in a given situation, given circumstance? Sometimes surprise yourself in really good ways by acting more courageous, more ethically, morally, with more integrity than you might have even expected out of yourself. And other times, surprise yourself unpleasantly so. The main point here is that, look, if you really want to be in control of how you behave, and particularly if you want to ensure that you behave in the best possible ways, in the most ethical, moral ways, then that is something you have to be seriously committed to and seriously practice. And practice not just under easy circumstances, easy conditions, easy environments, but that you practice and you challenge yourself to do better and do better and do better, even under challenging circumstances, difficult circumstances. And if you fall short of your expectations on some occasions, it's like, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. At the end of the day, the vast majority of us are just doing the best we can with what we know and what we have under the given conditions that we are experiencing. So again, you see, it's like, okay, we all have weakness in our character. We all have room for growth. We all have room for improvement. We are all going to make mistakes. And once you understand that, it allows you to open yourself to practicing greater compassion, greater empathy, and to recognize the wisdom in what the loving kindness meditation asks us to do. By wanting for others what we want for ourselves, quite literally, in the context of that meditation. So just think about this, and we will continue this very, very important conversation next episode. So until we connect next time, if you find yourself struggling with this, if something I've been saying, sharing has not made sense to you, or you find yourself challenging the idea, or something about what I'm saying does not sound congruent to you, you know what? Let me know. Seriously, I love to hear from you. Let me know. Because I have developed a certain perspective, but if I'm never challenged about it, and, challenge, then how am I to recognize if I have some kind of a blind spot, or some kind of inconsistency in the way that I'm thinking, right? Because we can often times, be unable to detect our own blind spots and our own inconsistencies in the ways that we think and feel. So I actually welcome your engagement, and I welcome your comments and your thoughts. And I will only say that if you choose to engage with me on this, choose to do so from a place of not just arguing for the sake of arguing, but really to help yourself and to help me deepen our thinking and deepen our understanding of our reality, of our nature, of our psychology, of these difficult issues that we're talking about, and to deepen our wisdom together through this engagement. So even if you have a criticism, make it or deliver it in a constructive way. So that's my invitation to you. And you know what? Besides your comments, your feedback, if you find yourself struggling with this issue, if what I've said makes sense and you want to apply it in your life, or you have been working to apply it in your life, but you find yourself struggling with the application, please do not continue to struggle on your own. Reach out for help and support, and I'm one person that you can reach out to for the help and support that you need. And you know how to reach me. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com and click on the Contact Us page, and you'll see the various options for how we can connect. So until we connect next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.